What's up, gaming heroes, and welcome back to episode 4 of the Gaming Hero podcast. In this episode, we have the wonderful, amazing chief writer and publisher of GamingHero.io, GetZapped. GetZapped, feel free to say hello
everybody.
And introduce yourself,
Hi,
my friend.
hi. Yeah, so I'm GetZapped or Zapped or just Zap. A lot of people know me in various different ways. I've been around for a while, so shorten my name however you'd like to. But yeah, you just call me Zap or Zapped. That works.
What do you make content on Zap?
I mostly do gold farming content, as well as just occasionally I like to do various challenge runs in WoW. Like right now I'm doing a series on Hardcore Classic. I'm doing a couple of different things there, but mostly my popular videos and what I enjoy doing are just quick gold farms. So I work a 9 to 5 like most people, so I don't have a ton of time to play. So I try to break things up into farms that I can kind of do in 15-minute spurts without having to really dedicate too much time.
Yeah, and I hear a lovely dog barking in the background there.
Yes, that is Chico.
What dog is that? Can you call him? Can we see him? Is
hey,
that possible?
Chico, come. It should be. Let's see. Let's see if he'll actually listen. There we go. Here he comes. This is Chico. This is my little baby boy. Come here.
Chico's a cheeky boy.
You want to look at the camera?
Oh my gosh, look at him.
Boy. I can get his brother. Oh, there's his brother.
My
He shows
gosh.
he's getting attention. Here's
We've got a puppy family.
Dog. Hey, come here. Come out here. Oh. Okay, he's running away. He's going back to mommy. Oh no, he's going to get a ball.
Oh
Okay,
my gosh, is that the t-shirt I bought you?
Yes, it is. It is. This is.
Can you stand up and
show
us?
Shaman. Yeah, absolutely.
So this is like a limited edition t-shirt I had for sale on the website. It was like a enhanced elemental shaman, and I sent one to Zap just because he's been such a good friend and
because I have a strange fixation with shamans.
Yes, exactly. You are the shaman master, so to speak.
I am. I have too many. It's just my go-to class. It's my comfort class.
So you're involved in Gaming Hero, and you're what I would describe as one of my right-hand men with the website. And for anyone that doesn't know, this podcast is called the Gaming Hero Podcast, and it is sponsored by GamingHero.io. And Zap is one of the chief publishers for that website. He creates most of the guides along with myself and another writer. And I would just love it, Zap, if you could talk a little bit about how you got involved in that project, what it involves, and what you kind of do with that.
As far as the starting of my involvement with Gaming Hero, I was just lurking. I spent a lot of time in Arrow's chats. It was like right after quarantine. I just moved to a new state. I was looking for something to listen to after work. So I just started lurking in Arrow streams, and I just started interacting with the community. And as far as like how I actually got started writing, you were working on some stuff. You were still doing your Patreon. So I was helping fill in some of the blanks when you just didn't have time in between managing everything you were doing, managing the community. So I started picking up some slack here and there. And then about a year ago now, I want to say it's almost exactly 1 year, we launched GamingHero.io. And I've just kind of, whenever there's a guide or whenever the community has found a need or had a question they wanted answered, I've done my best to try and help get that information out, either in a free guide or a membership guide. And a lot of it just boils down to helping fill in gaps and information that exists in the WoW community. My own interaction is mostly just seeing what the community wants. Of course, you and Rev, y'all are much better at actually writing and compiling the information and actually getting everything together onto the site that people want to know. I just fill in the blanks here and there, so to speak.
So what is your role, would you say, as part of Gaming
Hero?
Yeah.
So as part of Gaming Hero, a large portion of what I do is I do the affiliate and writer management, as well as I help take guides that other people have written or like the bare bones skeletons. I will actually move them and publish them on the website. I'll find screenshots. I will find the links and things that are relevant. I do a lot of connecting the dots and information that we're given and information that we work with. But a majority of what I do is I try to get the various writers in the community and the affiliates that we work with. I try to get information from them that they want to have published that they don't necessarily have time to write or dedicate time to.
Mm-hmm.
And I try and take all of that information, get it into one localized place, and make sure it's on Gaming Hero in a way that's accessible to readers.
So what do you most enjoy about doing like guides and creating guides and working with Gaming Hero in general?
Overall, I just enjoy answering questions. So I always try to absorb as much information as possible. So being able to help write the guides, a lot of times I'm learning all sorts of new stuff. I'm just going to go ahead and name drop the most recent article we published, which was the Ice Claw Bear Club or Snow Claw Bear Club. Snow Claw Bear Cub. I didn't know that existed. I've been playing Dragonflight since the launch, and I didn't even know that that Bear Cub was there or that you needed that specific title to even access it. So my favorite part of working with the guides and doing the guides is whenever people have a question, a lot of times I don't have the answer, and it gives me the opportunity to just kind of turn into a little sponge and soak everything up, and then I get to redisperse it out to the community. And it's always just a hit of dopamine, I guess, so to speak, every time I get to share that information out.
Yeah. So how would you say you kind of stay up to date with like the latest and greatest strategies for making gold, and then also the latest and greatest ways of how to share that on Gaming Hero?
So as far as like the latest and greatest ways of making gold, I spend a lot of time in various communities, which is why I like to say I'm kind of the community manager.
Yeah.
I'm in currently, just looking at my little sidebar here, I've got about 14 different gaming communities that I'm a part of, and about half of those are WoW related.
Wow.
I spend a lot of time absorbing just information from streams. Like I'll watch a lot of gold farmers live on stream. I will watch their videos. I throw things on like the Gaming Hero podcast. I'll have it on while I'm working. Sir. Hey. Yeah, go outside and fuss. Go outside and fuss. Yeah, he decides sometimes that barking at the window is the best option. But no, I just spend a lot of time in various Discords and various streams and various videos. I love a good podcast, anything that I can throw on while I'm working, because a lot of time I work. It's like she's kidnapping somebody in the background. Kabaki, let's go outside. Let's go outside, bud. Let's go outside. Come on, let's go see what the rocket is. Let's go. So I would have to say, like, in my opinion, our crowning achievement so far has been the RTN guides, and just getting to see all of the huge items that people get to pick up and post. And I was actually doing some testing on stream this morning. Most of those chests still exist in the same position, even in Kata Classic. Wow. And I've already made about 3,000 or 4,000 gold that I, of course, immediately spent on flying and stuff, just by running around on alts, picking up chests and killing rares that exist in our RTN guides. So I'm currently working on getting that updated, because you can't just import the retail routes over. You've got to change a little bit of the subcode. But no, I just, every time I see someone post like one of those really big picks, or even if they do the gold farmers hit list and all of a sudden they have 150,000, a 1.5 million gold item, just getting to see those get posted from things that we've helped kind of cherry pick and curate as some of the ideal routes or ideal items to pick. That's just always, it's amazing to see. And I think that's our crowning achievement, is giving a platform and the routes to people to be able to not only find those items, but show them off.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. I definitely think that one area of Gaming Hero I would love to like expand into in the future is giving the Gaming Heroes the ability, and that is any person who becomes a member of Gaming Hero, the ability to write their own guides without admin intervention. I would love to do that so that they could effectively write any post at any point in time and share their thoughts, their ideas, their guides on Gaming Hero in the community section. That's something I'm really wanting to do in the future.
And that's something I've been trying to encourage too. We have a couple of things there in the community section, I think, right now. The biggest one is Jordy's Mount Spotlight. before she was even an admin and even considered writing for us, she was sharing that out. It's an entire spreadsheet. She let me make a video on actually how to use it. And it was one of the first videos I put up on my channel. And that actually stemmed from the community engagement because she is a very avid mount farmer. And she wanted a way that didn't require an add-on to actually keep track of all of the characters and all the things she was doing. So I totally agree. If we get more community engagement, and it doesn't even have to be from our affiliates, just people that hang out and chat. If you find something cool,
you know what, Zach?
Let us
it's so
know.
interesting you mention this because that's been seriously something I've tried to focus on. With so many businesses out there, they focus on hiring. I'll pay you this much money to do that. I will hire you to do this job. I'll hire you to do that job. Gaming Hero hasn't come together like that. This has just been a bunch of people who freaking love World of Warcraft, love making gold, love collecting mounts and pets, toys.
Totally agree.
And every time someone passionate arises in the community and says, hey, I loved sharing this guide, this was a really good guide, or oh, have you thought about doing this? We reach out to them, we say, hey, you got some amazing ideas, can you become part of Gaming Hero and maybe share some of these? And we'll, at that point, we'll say, oh, hey, we'll pay you for your time. But we don't just try and be like, oh, hire you, hire that.
Oh, yeah.
We try and encourage passion, you know?
Yeah, we don't have just market headhunters out there trying to get people on with a signing bonus and this and that. We definitely work backwards as compared to a lot of other ventures like this. Because we do look for actual community engagement. Like, it doesn't matter if you're really good at the game. Honestly, we want people that actually have a passion, because just being good at it doesn't matter. We want people that are actively engaging, people that are actively trying to find new ways to do things. And that's how we find everybody, is they just show up in the community, they start watching the streams, they start interacting in chat, and they are actively contributing to stuff.
True.
They're moving things from one spot to another on their own without really needing our prompting. And the people that are able to generate those kind of conversations and get the ball rolling on their own are really what we're looking for. So we're not we're not actively looking for people.
Gaming
we
Hero
just
is like
set
the
stage
first
and let people find us.
Gaming Hero is like the first and the original, basically, of a site which shares their passion and guides for the game. And we try actively to encourage the passion, because there's so many people out there trying to imitate and do some similar type stuff. And they really approach it in the sense of, oh, let's just throw money at this problem, throw money at that problem. And really, it's a bad way to approach it, because it all ends up being about money, and your audience, your subscribers, your members, they pick up on that. And they pick up on your lack of passion and appreciation for this game. And that's what we try and stay away from personally, because we understand that, you know, you guys love World of Warcraft. That's why you're watching this right now. You know, it's why you play the game, and that's what we try and keep everything about with Gaming Hero.
100% agree there. I can't agree more. We're a community first and foremost. So we're not trying to push things in a corporate direction. And honestly, that's why we have so many free guides and things we end up pushing out for free.
I have a feeling I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you know what Jumanji is?
Jumanji? Yeah. It's the movie with Robin Williams.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, there's that one, and then there's the more recent one as well with The Rock.
They made two recently, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. And it's basically where they get trapped inside the game, right? So, let's Jumanji World of Warcraft. Alright, you're going into World of Warcraft for the rest of your life. You are going to be trapped inside the game, in a character. I want to know everything about your character. I want to know what race. I want to know what class. I want to know what name. I want to know where your home is, where you're planning to build a home and live for the rest of your days. I want to know what professions and what mount you use, what battle pet you use, everything like that. Tell me. Go for it.
Okay. So, as much as I would like to joke and say I would be like the big, strong orc, I would quite honestly probably be like a Pandaren shaman. And I would max out cooking. And I would just spend my days in Half Hill Market. It's just so peaceful, so much food, so many ingredients. And I would have to be a shaman. Just
of course.
Because electricity is cool. I wouldn't be GetZapped without just a helpful dose of electricity. But no, I would be an Epicurean to the max. I would be eating all of the foods. I'd be cooking all of the foods. And I would just have my little farm going. I have my own little garden IRL that I start up every so often. It doesn't look too good this year, but right now we've got bell peppers and potatoes and stuff growing. So yeah, I would definitely focus on cooking. I don't think I would do all the tailoring and skinning and leatherworking just because that's gross. I wouldn't do it in real life, so I don't think I'd do it in the game either.
Yeah. So you
and I don't have the hand dexterity for tailoring, so I would just be a Pandaren chef, just 100%.
I love that. That's actually amazing.
And I don't think I could really start shooting off names because if I was in the game, I would want a name that fits. But I feel like I am the wrong ethnicity to start shouting out Pandaren names in a podcast. I feel like that's a really good way for us to get canceled. I know my Discord.
Do it, dude. No, I think you should do it. I think just because of what you just said, I think you should.
Well, honestly, I would have to be like Chin Swiftpaw or something because Chin is just the default Pandaren name, right? Whenever someone thinks of a Pandaren, it's going to be Chin Stormstout. So.
Yeah,
but no, like, I would be a
right
Chin
race
of some
to
flavor.
say Chin Swiftpaw, you know, but
yeah. Look, I'm American. Oh my god, I don't like getting into online drama, but literally, someone tried to cancel Wendigoon.
Yeah.
And one of their main points was because his name is Wendigo, and he's not Native American enough.
Oh gosh.
To say Wendigo.
So
and that was a big thing. So I'm trying to avoid that.
Have you ever seen the TV series Warrior?
Warrior? Like American Ninja Warrior? Or is there something else?
it's a TV series. It's called Warrior, and Bruce Lee's daughter directs it, and it's basically when the Chinese first started coming to America, and like what that interaction was. And first they came to San Francisco. That was kind of like the first place that they came to.
Yeah.
The Chinese did, and when they got off the boats, the Americans very much tried to get the Irish who had just immigrated to the US and the Chinese who had just immigrated to the US to kind of like fight it out rather than like have the Americans kind of like keep the peace and everything like that. They would just put those two at odds with each other. And the Americans would just call them the Chin. They would just say Chin, and then instead of like learning their names, they would just go Chin. Come here. Like they wouldn't, like every single person was the exact same in that TV show. And when you said Chin Swiftpaw, I was like, so American, dude.
I am painfully American. If you look at my spice rack currently, I've got salt, pepper, sugar, and things that are just labeled either as Italian seasoning, like 3 different kinds of ground garlic. So no, if I'm having to think of a stereotypical Eastern name, I would have to be Chen more than likely.
I thought you were going to go for something like American. Zing. Like Zing.
Oh no. No. Look, I could go there. I'm going to be very careful with what I say. And sorry if I keep spinning around.
No,
I am autistic.
Like, we're not trying to be like overly politically correct, but that is what like Pandaren names in World of Warcraft are like, right? That's what they're like.
I mean, fair. That is a fair point.
We're just copying World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
So you would be Chin Swiftpaw. You'd max out cooking. You would live in Half Hill Market, which I absolutely love, by the way. We have a guide about that, don't we?
We do.
Yeah, the Tiller's farm. You'd have your own farm. I absolutely. That's an amazing answer to the question. I'm not even sure what I would do, but it sounds absolutely awesome. That kind of like answer.
That's just ideal. Just a nice calm area. You only occasionally get attacked by bug monsters, like fight off rabbits, and then the rest of the time you just grow your garden and cook. So it's like the best place to do it.
Let's hear you with some what if questions. I've got some what if questions.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I love what ifs. Yeah.
What if you could add a new class to World of Warcraft? What would it be, and what abilities would it have?
So I've actually thought about this a lot, and I would want something similar to, I don't know if you ever played Heroes of the Storm, But Gazlowe was like the master engineer tinkerer character.
Yes.
He was just a goblin, and he walked around and he had like mech arms that could do different things and drop turrets and like repair towers and stuff. I think it'd be cool to have, especially since they introduced the mechanomes and everything, being able to have a class that could just kind of on the fly like assemble like a pocket turret. And goblins already have like the town in a bog. So it's not like the technology doesn't really exist in game.
Yeah.
But just a support character whose like abilities didn't necessarily revolve around what the character themselves do, but the things they're able to toss out, like the buffs they're able to give to other people. It'd be a really cool way to bring in the engineering like self-res toy, or not self-res toy, but the gnomish like jumper cables or goblin jumper cables.
Yes, that would be sick.
The gnomish pocket knife I think reses people without any issues. It's a lot more fun to use the goblin jumper cables.
Did you ever see that private World of Warcraft server where they made a goblin and gnome city? It was like a combined goblin gnome city. And they were like, it was built on the trade commerce between the two races. And it was like super cool. You walk around and it is like everything gnomish and goblin mixed together, and it just looked amazing.
The Turtle WoW, and I think, what was that in Stone Talon Mountain is where they elected to do it, right?
I can't remember, but it was definitely a World of Warcraft private server where it never actually got into World of Warcraft. It looked amazing. I don't know if you saw it, but it looked wild.
Yeah, it looked really cool. Private servers do some really cool stuff. I know that the official statement on those is you're not supposed to do them, but there's so much cool stuff that you can do like in the WoW universe that doesn't really take that much like nudging to get to work. So those private servers do some really cool things.
I have kind of a strong opinion on this, and I think it's stupid. Mm-hmm. I think it's absolutely stupid and moronic to say you shouldn't do this or don't do this, because we wouldn't have classic World of Warcraft without that.
Without the interest, without the interest.
We would not have classic World of Warcraft without private servers.
And personally, I agree to an extent. I think as long as they are keeping it free without there being too much money being taken away from Blizzard, but it's some of these servers start introducing like all sorts of like pay to win features and stuff.
See, this is my issue with it as well, Zap, is they should encourage it from a perspective of adding new features. If you want to design a cool new feature that is really good and could potentially make it into World of Warcraft, then do. But don't try and like over monetize it and take business away from Blizzard. That's not what I'm talking about.
Exactly. Yeah, and unfortunately, that's where a lot of the private servers kind of went to. I remember before like the Hardcore Classic became a thing, there was a private server where it was hardcore, kind of in name only, because for $20 you could pay to have your hardcore character resurrected. So if you had one bad pull, you could pay $20 to the admin of the server, and he would resurrect your hardcore character.
Damn.
And a lot of people were doing that. So I do like the idea of encouraging private server people. And honestly, if they're doing a good job and it's a popular server, I could even see that kind of transitioning into like a job with Blizzard themselves, and actually get official support for it.
That is like the best headhunting strategy ever, isn't it? Think about it.
It is.
Create some
and I don't think it
projects
should
and
be
get hired.
Exactly. You do really cool things with their engine, with their assets. You show that you can make things work without accidentally destabilizing an entire server. Because when they start doing that, they're playing with Blizzard's spaghetti code. Mm-hmm. And honestly, anybody that's able to unravel that spaghetti code and make something cool that works without breaking like an entire server, I feel like that just shows they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I completely approve of that as soon as they're not like breaking stuff.
Totally.
It takes a great amount of effort to mess with Blizzard spaghetti coding.
Exactly.
It does look like it's just it's 3 plates of spaghetti and a trench coat that's kind of operating as a game.
The thing for me that I really like about that is, say for example, that Goblin and Gnomish town, like they could have easily just said, "Hey, we really like this idea. We actually want to use this. Would you be interested in getting involved in the project?" And then just bring the person into Blizzard. Give them a tour of Blizzard as a thank you, and then get that like town or city into Blizzard, you've just freed up loads of resources for World of Warcraft, potentially saved months of like developing by just getting this actually into
And if you
World of
start
Warcraft.
hiring developers that the public actually likes,
Yeah.
excuse me, those people that were playing on servers that may have not been paying for a WoW account, they may be tempted to come over because hey, now one of their favorite developers is actually working with Blizzard. So,
Exactly.
I don't think it should be banned. Although Blizzard hasn't really budged on their position in 20 years, so I'm not quite sure if we could.
Yeah, I think what they should
budge.
do is not switch it and say, oh yeah, private servers are great. No, I think they should potentially create a tool which makes it easier for people to make their own World of Warcraft features to submit, or something like that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Jigglesworth mount and everything, where they just created a bunch of mount ideas and then let the community kind of roll with it. I think if they just kind of had the community come up with the art concepts and push it. Because I want to say that those were internal ideas. I don't think those came from the community.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they just like let the community like actually submit ideas and submit things and start letting the community as a whole vote for it.
Yeah.
Especially if it's not like hugely game breaking.
Imagine if
like we're not adding a brand new class.
Imagine if they had like a city builder for World of Warcraft. The amount of people that like build their own cities and then share those online, that'd be so awesome, wouldn't it?
Sort of like with the StarCraft 2 and the Warcraft map editors. There was so much stuff that the community as a whole was doing with those map editors that eventually became entire things. Like Heroes of the Storm wouldn't have been a game without people doing stuff in the old Warcraft map editor.
You know what I would love if they did have that goblin and gnomish like city, is if there was like a thing that automatically turns your character into a gnome or a goblin, depending on your faction. Like the second you enter the city, it's like there are only gnomes and goblins allowed in this city, and then you automatically turn into one when you enter.
You know, it'd also be kind of cool if it was if it based like if you spend most of your time in the auction house, then obviously all of your characters are going to be goblins. But if you spend most of your time doing professions and actually like exploring the world, you're going to be a gnome.
Yeah.
That'd be
Do you know what I like though is like if they did that, they could change the architecture of all the buildings, like because you could have really small like doors. You could have
it'd be a large city, but it'd be very small in size because they don't actually
big because your character is so small. You know, it's kind of like
you would think that, but like, did you see the size of some of the areas in Mechagon? Like actually down in the
crazy.
Why do they need so much space for such a little people? Like, I don't think they'd use the space.
It's called overcompensating. Okay.
Is that what that is? Is that what that is? Okay. Fair. That's fair.
So, what would you say your favorite World of Warcraft dungeon is in World of Warcraft? Did I say that right? What's your favorite dungeon?
Favorite dungeon? Okay, so are you splitting raids and dungeons into two separate parts?
Yeah.
Okay, so favorite dungeon would honestly have to be Classic Deadmines.
Ah.
Classic Deadmines just... it feels like an actual start to an adventure. You're not this massive, powerful hero, like, saving the planet. No, you're a group of, like, 5 people going in and beating up some pirates. Like, that's the most introduction to an MMO dungeon ever. And it set the tone for the entire base game. So that's probably my favorite dungeon in the entirety of WoW's history. Now, as far as like just aesthetics go, I really enjoyed Darkheart Thicket. Just the way Darkheart Thicket looked with like that red corruption seeping through the dungeon, but it was still druidic in nature. I thought that was really cool as far as looks go. But number one dungeon every time has to be Deadmines.
I think I have to agree with you on Deadmines. There's no other dungeon to me that screams an adventure. You know, other than Deadmines.
If you ask most people to name a dungeon from World of Warcraft, if they've been playing for more than 5 years, anybody that's been playing for more than 5 years will probably just tell you Deadmines. It's been revamped twice. It's the first dungeon most Alliance players got to experience. It's just iconic, so I've got to say that's hands down my favorite.
Yeah, I quite liked, which is the one now? Is it the Stratholme?
Stratholme is also a very good one.
Yeah, there's a like you're kind of thrown into the story there, and experiencing it a little bit there. I quite like that one as well.
Yeah, culling of Stratholme I think was really
That's
cool.
it. That's
because the culling, you get to experience the Warcraft 3 campaign, because in Warcraft 3 you actually got to start the sacking.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to start, you actually got to set the fire or experience like the burning city and zombies in Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
And then you actually get to see that old, like, almost 64-bit cinematic play out with your WoW characters. You're sitting there observing Arthas giving the order. So culling of Stratholme is really cool.
You kind of understand Arthas as well. You're like, this is a horrible decision that you've been put in, and I kind of understand how you became so evil. Like, I understand it now.
Yeah, because you were put in a tough situation and you made a bad decision just to find out that that bad decision wasn't necessarily justified.
Yeah.
Because Uther and Jaina were like, well, we don't know if any of the grain already got out, but Arthas was like, what if it didn't? If we kill them all, it won't be a problem. And it kind of devolved from there. But yeah, that kind of decision weighs on you. And that was the defining moment that led to Arthas becoming the Lich King. When he's challenged by Balthazar to chase him from Northrend. Yeah, it was 100% the catalyst. Because before then, he was just a rich boy with a good heart.
Yeah.
But after that,
any character can do that. Like, any good person can become evil in the right circumstance if they're pushed to the limit far enough and they make the wrong decisions. Like, that is what happened.
I agree. Honestly, to quote a Batman comic, all it takes is one bad day.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
all it takes. And suddenly you have one of the worst villains on the planet.
It's not Punisher says that to Daredevil.
I thought it was the Joker saying it to Batman.
Maybe. So the one I heard was the Punisher saying to the Daredevil, "You're just one bad day away from being me." That's what he says to Daredevil, because he's like,
it could be.
You hit people and they get back up. I hit people and they stay down. You're one bad day away from being me. And it's like, damn.
I may just be getting all of my comic streams crossed.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but
and honestly, I feel like I've mostly seen it just like in meme format. So honestly, once you start throwing text at stuff, it just devolves.
When I read that, I got chills. Totally right. I got chills.
And it's true. It's true. I mean, just about any person. Which if you want to like bring it into a movie thing for people that don't like comics and comic characters, what was it? Falling Down with Michael Douglas, where he's just having a really bad day. It's a whole movie where one guy just has a bad day. It starts out with like his car just stalling on the way to work. He gets fired. He loses his daughter and like custody of his daughter, and it just gets worse and worse as he's going along.
Sucks.
And it's just one movie. At some point, he like blows up like section of a city street in Los Angeles.
Jeez. Have you?
And it started with his car going bad.
There's a good film called Locke, and it stars Tom Hardy. And
I don't think I've seen that. No,
not many people have seen it, ironically. But Tom Hardy's obviously a huge actor, and the whole film is starring him in a car. The entire film. He's driving.
The entire movie is Tom Hardy in a car?
Yeah, driving. The entire movie
Wasn't
is
that just
driving.
Mad Max?
And basically, his life falls apart and just falls apart whilst he's on the phone driving down the motorway. And I don't want to ruin it for you, but like his literal life falls apart from phone calls. And he's just having phone calls with his wife, phone calls with some his employees at his work. And he's having phone calls with like some other woman, like, and everything's just going like his entire dream, his life, his ambitions, his honor, everything's just been crumpling down into nothing. Just seeing, because it's Tom Hardy, he's a bloody good actor. You could just see his eyes breaking, you know?
That's terrible.
Yeah,
but I mean, to be fair, Tom Hardy has to be a good actor, because most of the films I think of Tom Hardy being in, he's got something covering everything but his eyes.
Yeah.
So he has to be able to emote.
Yeah, exactly. I think the title of the film is Locke, but it's basically Locke with an E.
Gotcha. So it's like Lock the name.
Yeah, exactly.
As opposed to Lock the mechanism.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Okay, so your favorite dungeon is Dead Mines. If you were forced into picking one mount to use forevermore, what would it be? One flying mount and one ground mount.
Flying mount and one ground mount. So one flying mount would probably have to be my Farseer's Raging Tempest, which is the Shaman class Order Hall mount. Just because, even though I'm stuck with one flying mount, it changes color depending on my spec. So I get three. I get 3 in 1 there.
Are you trying to find tricks in my questioning, Sam?
I am.
I'm gonna
because
be mean
you want to make
you
me pick a spec.
You now
want to
have
make me
to
pick a
pick a
spec.
color of that mount that you have to be stuck with for the rest of your life.
Then probably the enhancement, just because it's an actual storm elemental, which I kind of dislike because enhancement's not my favorite spec, but the storm coloration with like the gold bracers and the actual stormy gray physique, because an elemental is like a fire elemental, but it's got the storm elemental model, and it just doesn't sit right with me. But the actual enhancement one looks the coolest out of all 3 of them, so I would pick that one.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
And as far as ground mounts go, it would have to be one of the rare ones I got back when they were hard. Probably like my Ravenlord's mount. I think I would use that one because I got that back when it was still a once a day lockout. You had to have a druid actually summon the boss. If you didn't have somebody that was attuned that could summon it, you just didn't have it. So I think that would be my ground mount of choice as my Talon Ravenlord. Just because it's rare. Just because it was rare. I know at some point they made it so you could just kill the boss once a day regardless. But,
I
got it when it was hard, so I love
the
it.
basic like lion mounts, but from Pandera. Like they're the stone lion mounts, like the Mogu.
Oh, the Quillen. The Quillen.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Quillen mounts are cool too.
I like them.
I got roped into getting the 1-year subscription way back in MOP, and they were like, "Oh, if you buy a year up front, you get
I've always
a mount." You got Diablo 4 or Diablo 3, not Diablo 4. You got Diablo 3. You got a mount. You got like something else. I forget what all you got, but that was their first like big benefit for buying multiple months at once. So I ended up getting that, and the Quillen you got with that is like the Imperial Quillen. It's the green one with the wings. It's like a normal ground mount until you go to fly, and it like sprouts like the green spectral wings.
Yeah.
That one's probably my favorite of the Quillen mounts. And I don't know if that do any of the other Quillen mounts actually sprout wings like that? Or do they just sprout regular wings?
I'm trying to think. I
Or
can't
do
think
they
of any
even
off the
fly?
top of my head.
Yeah, I can't think of any that fly off the top of my head either. Oh, actually, I think there's some that fly from Mock Remix now. I think there's 2 recolors.
Yes, I know the ones.
There's 2 recolors you can get. But yeah, no, Quillen, that's a really good one. I remember when, okay, so hunters, I raid a lot. I've raided a lot since Mists of Pandaria. There were very specific pets that you had to have as a hunter if you wanted to be on a raid team there for a while. You had to have a cat or a wolf because they each offered DPS things. You had to have a spirit beast if it was an encounter where your healer was concerned about keeping you alive because it had like a passive heal for the hunter. And then the 4th one when MOP came out was the Quillen. Because the Quillen was a hunter pet with a battle res. And it was independent of the Druid, Death Knight, and Druid and Death Knight battle reses. So if you were a hunter and you were on a progression raid team, you had to be Beast Mastery and you had to bring a Quillen so that you could actually do the battle reses. And it was like you got extra battle reses for having the Quillen. And it was basically required. If you guys were just DPSing stuff, bring one of the 3 DPS ones. But if you were progressing, it was either bring a Quillen or we wouldn't bring your hunter.
Oh my gosh.
So Quillen have been very cool since they were released in MOP. So that's a really cool choice.
As
far as like permanent mount. Oh man, I have all sorts of like random anecdotes from raiding. Once upon a time, I was in like one of the server first guilds that would get like the 25-man heroic server firsts every tier. So we shuffled players a lot. That was one of the stipulations. So as soon as you said Quillen, it reminded me like, oh, yeah, we used to tell people they just couldn't play if they didn't have one.
That's awesome. It's so savage, but it also makes complete sense.
Yeah. When you're pushing, when you have like a week and a half to progress, otherwise you don't get anything for it, then yeah,
Everything matters.
You would get whispers from the raid leader telling you to like update your DBM to like a specific version because there's a bug with another version of DBM that they don't want to do because it's like 0.2 seconds off. So it's like, mid raid, log out, update your DBM to this specific version, and then come back. Yeah, it was crazy.
Crazy. So it was crazy. Here's another question, because you were talking a bit about cooking earlier, and specifically loving the idea of if you were Jumanji'd into World of Warcraft, you would want to basically be maxed out on cooking. Here's a cooking question for you then.
Okay.
If you had to have a World of Warcraft cooking competition, what dish would you make, and which character would you use? Would you want, to be a judge?
Like in game,
yes.
Honestly, I would probably cook the Dirk's Kickin' Chimera chops.
Yeah.
Just because it has a really cool name.
Yeah.
And it gave you like a dragon's breath ability, kind of like the dragon flame chili.
Yeah.
So it has a cool effect. It has a cool name. Who would judge it? Oh, you know so in Kata Classic or Kata, when it came around, there was a dwarf in the Badlands who gave you a quest. And like the whole point of the quest was how he punched Deathwing in the face.
Yeah.
He's just this little drunk dwarf who is convinced he punched the aspect of death in the face. I want him to judge my spicy pork chops. I just feel like not only he would spin that into like a whole story, like how he judged the competition. So not only do I get to hang out with a crazy person to make tasty food, I get a really cool story when we're done. So I think that's who I would have pick it.
Is it? I'm trying to look up real quick the
Google. I'm not Googling.
I just want to make sure I say it right.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because okay. So I would, first of all, I'd want Johnny Awesome to be the judge.
I love Johnny Awesome.
I'd love Johnny Awesome to be the judge, and I would make him the Heartsbane Hexwurst sausages.
Why would? Isn't that the one that turns you into a pigman?
Yeah.
Why do you want to feed? Why would you feed Johnny Awesome the pigman sausage?
That's not nice. A pigman running around called Johnny Awesome.
I don't think he would run around. I think he would stay in hiding until it wore off. He's too vain.
I know. That's what. It would be funny though.
It would be funny. Mean.
I am.
Okay,
so Johnny Awesome.
So he spends an entire quest line being called a woman just for you to want to turn him into a pig and insult him even more. I know he's kind of a joke character, but man, he's being bullied by both the players and the developers now.
It is what it is. They're going to have to deal with that. Oh.
Dang it.
So what's the most unusual or unexpected way that you've made gold in World of Warcraft?
Okay, so if you're going for unusual, I have danced on mailboxes before when I was a younger lad in high school.
No.
And I would go to role-playing servers on female characters and dance on mailboxes. You could make a lot of money doing that. Those role players will literally hand you money.
Fair play for you admitting that. Fair play.
Yeah, that's probably the most unique way I've made gold, just have it handed to me by people online. So sorry to anybody that was being just handing gold over being catfished in 2017. Not only did you get catfished, 3 years later you were stuck in a pandemic and probably catfished even more. I apologize. As far as like items that I've sold, just transmog. Okay. I never thought that transmog would be like a really lucrative kind of like market, because I still mostly only do material farming. It just feels the most trade-esque to me.
It feels more fun, like as a game. It feels like that's what we should be doing, you know?
Exactly, rather than shuffling online cosmetics. But the online cosmetics, they sell really well.
I love flipping, but it gets a bit boring after a while, doesn't it? You just like
it does. Sometimes I want to be out in the world and like go to pick an herb and something interrupts me, so I have to fight the mob and then I can go back to picking the herb. Stuff like that. it feels like I'm
Yeah.
actually doing something.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Like
that's
flipping in a game is
materials
just
like
like not
that.
really playing. I love
Yeah, like
flipping.
no fault to you. No fault to you if it's something you enjoy. I mean,
Yeah.
it is a viable way to play it, but I mean, I play the game to adventure in another world, not participate in online stock markets.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I think my personal perspective on this is I think the best way to make gold in the game is probably flipping.
Absolutely.
It might be boosting as well, obviously, but I think probably flipping is like one of the best ways to make gold in the game. And it's one of the strategies I use a lot, but like it's not fun. It's not really playing World of Warcraft. It's just playing an auction house and doing online economics. You know?
Exactly. I kind of missed it. I did a lot more things that were like flipping and a lot of stuff back when you could still do it on your phone. Like
So
I would do it at work, like in between lunch breaks and stuff, or in between breaks and on my lunch break and stuff. I'd just do all my flipping from my phone.
got you.
If I'd see something high value, I'd like buy it real quick and then repost it when I get home, stuff like that. But if I'm actually at my computer, I want to be playing the game.
Yeah, totally agree. The most unusual way I made gold in World of Warcraft was actually not too long ago. I was trying to set up a mythic Amdrasil raid to try and get the more chances of getting the axe. You know, the legendary one. And
yeah, Feralath or whatever. The Dream Render.
I was trying to
has a really cool name.
I was trying to get that. And I was like, I'm going to set up a mythic raid. So I did. I killed the first 2 bosses, and then I realized on this character I don't actually have the skip to get straight to Smoldering.
Oh, were you just selling the lockout to the seed?
I didn't have the Smoldering skip, so I was like, damn. But people kept saying, oh, you know, if you don't have the skip, dude, we won't be able to get to Smoldering. I was like, don't worry. We're not worrying about bottlenecks. When we get to that point, we kill the second boss, I'll find us a skip. All right? Don't worry, I'll pay however much I need to pay, and I'll get the skip. And they went, okay. So I did. And I basically just I went to /1 and said, hey, if you got the mythic Amrasil skip to Smoldering, please join my group. I'll give you 10,000 gold. Come do the skip. And boom. And then a bunch of people were like, hey, we'd pay up to like 50,000 gold if you wanted. It's up to you. And I said, look, I'll be honest, this is going to cost me 10,000 gold. And they went, look, you made this group. We all should chip in money towards you. Just getting these two bosses down and trying to get to Smolder. And I was like, okay. So I ended up making 85,000 gold because people just gave me gold for like making a mythic group and getting them to Smoldering. And I was just like, what?
Selling raid lockouts used to be a huge thing that like the bigger guilds would do. Like you would see Limitless and what is it, the other one? Like Limitless and Echo. Yeah, Echo. Like once they got to where things are on farm, they would have like people leave their alts and just, hey, let's sell this run. We've already cleared everything we need for the tier. We're not interested in gear. Start selling it to refill the bank costs because the race to world first is expensive, like millions and millions of gold. So they would get to the point where they would kill up to like a specific boss with a great trinket and then just sell that lockout. They'd throw away like one raider. Okay.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's insane. I don't think they can do that easily anymore though. Because I want to say the mythic lockouts are all shared. Like if one person leaves the group and then continues, I think it locks everyone else out now. But that's cool. That's cool. Actually selling like, hey, we killed the first 2 bosses. If you guys just want to skip, come on, let's do it.
Exactly. That's my thoughts as well. So what do you most enjoy? Because you stream quite regularly, don't you? Every week.
Yeah, every Saturday and Sunday. Yep, sometimes during the week.
Every Saturday, Sunday, you're always streaming. So what do you enjoy most about streaming on Twitch? And by the way, all of Zapp's socials are in the description, so you can check that out. What do you most enjoy about streaming on Twitch?
So what I enjoy streaming on Twitch is honestly just meeting all the different people. I've had people from every different time zone, every different region, because I tend to stream for about 4 to 5 hours at a time. So it's through a bunch of people's day. So I have people from all over the world popping in. They'll follow, they'll comment. And typically, if you have somebody jump into your Twitch stream, if they are going to say something, they tend to have a little more to say than YouTube. I've streamed on YouTube before, and I would have like up to 20 or 30 concurrent viewers with nobody saying anything.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there talking to myself. But now, if I stream on Twitch, even if I only have 4 people, those 4 people are going to be saying something. And I don't know if that's just a difference of like the culture on Twitch, where you had to make an account to comment in the first place, and if you've already went through the time to make an account, you may as well say something. I don't know if that's really what's going on, but that's kind of been my headcanon for it. But I've gotten to meet a lot of really interesting people just through Twitch, and they tend to be a little more talkative, so I've definitely enjoyed it. Because I used to simulcast, and I used to stream mostly on YouTube before I started my Twitch streaming, because as of July 10th, I've been doing Twitch for a year.
Yeah.
Or at least I've been affiliated for a year. And I have met so many cool people. Like, I have people from, like, my first month of streaming that still pop in from time to time just to say hi. Like, I remember, like, my first affiliated stream, I was just flying around doing dragon races. And I had people pop in asking me why I'm doing that instead of, like, actually gold grinding.
Yeah.
And that same person just popped in the other day, and they gave my their 11-month resub.
Wow.
It's like, I remember you from that first week. You were questioning why I was doing dragon races because people didn't know you could actually make gold doing that.
Wow.
And it's been super cool just seeing that carry over. But yeah, it's something I just didn't really see on YouTube, really. Not to say that it's not there. I'm sure there are very talkative people if you have a much larger community.
So what would you say is a really good, like, memorable moment from your streams that has just kept you wanting to stream as much as possible?
Honestly, when people clip stuff, just full disclaimer, my Twitch streams are marked as mature. I tend to say some really out-of-pocket stuff. So I have like really high anxiety.
Yeah.
And a panic disorder, so I get jump scared a lot. And one of my most common Twitch interactions is I have the sound alert set up where they can play a jump scare scream. And it'll usually be a nice quiet moment, and then all of a sudden we're having a conversation, and then you hear the scream, and then just the most random stuff will come out of my mouth. And it usually gets clipped, or sometimes I'll fall off of something because I fall a lot too. So I have a collection of Twitch clips where people have just clipped me walking off of something that most normal people would not fall off of. But gravity is always working for me. I have to check it every time, but yeah, gravity still works.
Gravity still works for you.
Gravity still works, yeah. I have to check it. It has to be tested. And it usually gets clipped when it does happen. So the clips and the interactions that way, where if I just do something blatantly stupid or get startled, and someone's just there, just suddenly it's immortalized. That's got to be the most memorable interactions.
Yeah. So what do you think it is about your personality that kind of like shines through for you as a creator then?
I don't get, like, I'm easily startled, but I don't get worked up over things. Like, I play games like Dark Souls and do my challenge modes, the hardcore challenges and stuff on WoW. And like when I die, I just get up and go again. I'm very calm most of the time, and I like to think I'm fairly level-headed. Things don't really get under my skin. And people have often said that I have like capybara energy, or I have like great second monitor content, because it's just, I'm here. I'm just chilling. I'll respond to whatever's going on. Actually, hold on. It fell when I was getting my camera set up, but I have a capybara plushie. OJ Bara. That my lovely wife got me. So one second. He fell off the desk when I was moving the camera.
Aww.
But yeah, I have a little stream mascot now. He's a little capybara. We call him OJ Bara because of the orange on his head. But yeah, he's my little zappy bar. Yeah. So, yeah.
So what is it you want to get from content creation and streaming and things like that?
Honestly, like, one of the things just about anybody should want is, I guess, recognition. I don't think anybody really does this to not be recognized to some capacity. But for me, it's just kind of a personal goal. I mean, being able to start from nothing and then build a community and just build momentum and get recognition doing something I enjoy and trying to spread values that I enjoy is honestly what I'm hoping to get out of it. I'm not looking to really be rich. I don't think I'm going to make this a full-time career or anything. If it happens, it happens. But it's not really my number one goal. But just getting to spend time with people and keep going and just have fun while building a following and getting a little bit of recognition would be nice. But just building the community.
Yeah, I think that's an amazing answer you've just given. And one of the things that I really love about your content in particular is you obviously make content for Gaming Hero, and it always tends to be so high quality, the content you make. Like, all the guides, the videos, the streams, everything you do is so high quality, it's awesome. Like, you were talking about the RTN. When I first came up with the RTN guides, the rare treasure node farming, and you got involved with that, you took it to the next level. You really made those guides special. And I think that encouraged the community to get more involved, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially since at the time, I mean, I wasn't slapping my name on anything. I wasn't trying to do stuff. I was just the guy with the red name in chat was answering questions, all of a sudden had even more info to give. And that's the kind of stuff that I really strive for, is just those little moments and getting people out of their shell and getting people to commingle.
I agree. Massively agree with that.
Yeah.
So is there any particular project or bit of content you're super looking forward to, like, working on?
So something I'm really looking forward to working on is, like, right now I've been messing around with Kata Classic a little bit. And I know we keep mentioning RTN, the rare treasure node farming. I've discovered that it's not exactly one-to-one in Kata Classic as it currently is on retail, but it's still ridiculously profitable. Right now, WoW tokens on NA are about 5,500 gold. And just this morning, I sold a blue item for like 850 gold.
Wow. That
I got out of a chest in Outlands. And it sold within 6 hours. It hadn't even been up for 6 hours yet. So already I've gotten almost like an eighth of a WoW token from a single item in a single chest as I was just flying by. Because I remembered, it's there in retail. It might be up in.
So you've been really pushing Gaming Hero in the direction of wanting to get classic Kata gold making, basically.
I have been trying to get that up and running just in my free time. I hadn't really touched the what do they call it? It's not era, so classic era is what I mostly play.
This is part of the reason I haven't pushed towards like getting classic setup for like Gaming Hero. Because there's just so many different, like...
Yeah, so now you've got Classic Era, you've got Kata Classic, and you have Retail. And now they're throwing in the events like Mock Remix, which you can't really make gold in, but you can set up alts to make gold in Retail later.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's so much stuff to try and keep track of.
It's too much,
I've been having... It is. It's way too much. But, like, right now, gold is so inflated in Kata Classic.
It's crazy.
I felt that I couldn't not participate.
Oh yeah, totally.
And we would just be missing a lot of stuff if I didn't participate.
I'm glad you did.
So right now I'm trying to get stuff up and running. So I've got a level 71 hunter I've been testing stuff on. I got him high enough so I can actually learn epic flying eventually. It's so expensive still. It costs almost one WoW token to get your epic flying still.
Holy crap.
It's 4,750 gold.
Whoa.
So for an extra 750, you could get an entire month of game time, or you could have epic flying up one tune.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, but it's actually been pretty easy. I went from having no flying to having my standard flying and my pilot's license, which lets you fly in the old world, and my cold weather flying within,
Cataclysm,
within 8 hours of picking the character.
Can you boost?
Do you mean like using the level boost in game, or are you wanting to boost?
Yeah, the in-game boost.
Oh, the in-game boost, yeah, you can. Actually, if you did like their pre-order Cataclysm event thing, you got a level 80 boost.
Wow.
Offhand, so you got like the Ragnaros mount. You got some other stuff.
Oh, that's cool. So you could technically boost and then just do loads of gold making easily.
I could, but honestly, I find it's more fun to just
I'm just saying if you don't have the time.
Yeah, if you don't have the time, if you just want to drop what is a level boost? It's like $45.
Yeah.
You just want to drop the $45 on it, or 45 quid, whatever it translates to in your region, go for it. You'll pay it off within 24 hours, just about, if you actually play.
Yeah, definitely.
So, which
And you
is
save
an
yourself a lot
insane
of time.
turnaround. Yeah, you save yourself a lot of time, and you can turn around and suddenly have multiple months worth of game time within
Exactly.
24 hours of time played. So it's
Well,
not a bad shout. Not a bad shout
you
at
know
all.
what, Zap? It has been an absolute pleasure having you on today. I've had
It
an
has.
absolute blast getting to know you even better. I've known you for years, obviously, but you've given the gaming hero community even more of an opportunity to get to know you. And
Yeah,
I really hope that
absolutely.
they stop by your YouTube channel, your Twitch channel, and follow and subscribe to you.
100%. I hope to see everybody there.
Thanks so much for joining. I really appreciate your time. And this
Thanks
is
for
both
having.
GetZapped and Erosium.